Brian Corrigan.
Hello. I'm waving. Hi.
Hello?
Are we ready to go? We good to go, Margot? Excellent. All right. I'd like to call the Tuesday, February 16th meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to say a prayer. Dear God, we are thankful that you hear and answer our prayers. Please hear our prayer and be in the midst of our meeting today. Thank you that your presence speaks peace to our souls. Give us clear minds and peaceful hearts as we gather together. May we see your beauty, feel your love, know your wisdom, and experience your power. May we do your will to serve you and our county. We pray these things in your mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. All right. Reports and requests. First being the Board of Commissioners. First item is the accounts payable docket. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion is second. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. The keys to the county presentation is being postponed for another meeting. Council, do we need to take any action on this, or we just? Sweet. Next, we have the Citizen of the Month.
Okay, so you want me to make Citizen of the Month? I'll talk about just this. The Board of Commissioners of St. Joseph County believes that our community is filled with everyday heroes, individual citizens or groups that go above and beyond the normal call of duty to each other and our community. These county residents inspire us all through their dedication to service, athleticism, teamwork, and commitment and pride in St. Joseph County. Therefore, the Board of Commissioners hereby establishes 3 new awards to be conferred monthly to recognize an outstanding and inspirational citizen, business, and youth. Recipients of these awards will have their names engraved on a plaque to be prominently displayed in the offices of the Board of Commissioners. They will also receive an engraved plaque of their own and recognition at a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, as well as the county's website and social media accounts. And the award categories are Business of the Month, awarded to a locally owned business that has been a positive impact on our community. Citizen of the Month, awarded to an individual or group that exemplifies the qualities of citizenship, teamwork, or service to others. And Youth of the Month, awarded to a citizen or group under the age of 18 that through their example has demonstrated a commitment to inspiring others through teamwork, dedication, or service to others. So this month, we are pleased to announce that January 2021 recipients. So we've got these coming up here now. And so actually the first one is going to be the Business of the Month. I'm sorry, Citizen of the Month, right?
Correct.
Right, okay. So, and that is something that I had wanted to do because I wanted to highlight Bethel University volleyball team because they won their national tournament and I was so proud of them. And so here's what we are. So our team can be named the Bethel University volleyball team. And the roster of the athletes are number 1, Kelsey Kursdorf, outside hitter. Number 2, Caitlin Zlabek, setter. Number 4, Rachel Vendel, defensive specialist. Number 5, Carolyn Mullet, a setter. Number 6, Peyton Hart, outside hitter, defensive specialist. Number 8, Jackie Fernandez, the libero. Number 9, Abby Arnold, opposite hitter. Number 10, Maddie Beaver, setter, opposite hitter. Number 11, Maddie Payne, middle hitter. Number 12, Isabel North, middle hitter. Number 15, Hannah Dull, defensive specialist. Number 18, Megan Hosinski, opposite hitter. Number 20, Cheyenne Seymour. And the coaches are, the head coach is Katie Wise, the assistant coach is Kristen Mitchell, and the manager is Chloe Claiborne and Sue Vandegrift. And this season, the Pilot volleyball team finished their fall season 20-4 overall and 14-3 in conference. The Bethel squad went on to compete at the NCCAA National Tournament, sweeping the competition in the first 3 games of the tournament. They defeated Campbellsville, Grace College, and Mid-American Christian in the first rounds of the tournament. They defeated Dallas Baptist University in 4 sets for the semi-championship game. They played Northwestern College in the final match of the national tournament, defeated them in 5 sets in a nail-biting finish of 19-25, 21-25, and 27-25, 25-23, and 19-17. So they won. So I'm very proud of it that our Bethel University in Mishawaka had done that. So again, I'm honored that we're going to be able to announce them as Citizens of the Month. Thank you.
Commissioner Fleming. Moving on to the Business and Youth of the Month, Commissioner Dieter.
Sure. First, I'd like to thank Deb and Andy. This was something that we came up with to help out with what we do, getting more involved in the community, and especially it's great to honor the dozens of people and citizens that we'll be doing here throughout the year. At the end of the year, we'll have a Business and Youth and Citizen of the Year award with a gala party that Andy's going to host it is wherever we decide to do that. But we'll go with business. Jim, are you on here? There you go. Okay, cool. McKinnis Realty is the business of the month. They're a phenomenal first realty company, does a lot of work. They honor heroes in the community, service people, emergency people, police, firemen, and so on. But more importantly, what I've seen from him and his family is having a church on the northwest side of town. They bought a lot across the street from their church in the spring and summer. They have a tent. They do tremendous outreach, which is unparalleled in St. Joe County that I'm aware of. So it's just a very good thing for them and his family to keep doing what they do. So I'm going to put Jim on the spot for about a minute or whatever, and just tell us more about what y'all doing, buddy.
Well, we're just trying to serve our community, and we do that through our business. We do that through what we do at the church as well. We do that through everything. So serving our community is just an expression of who we are, and we're just grateful to be in South Bend. We're grateful to be be able to serve our community through real estate, through the Homes for Heroes program, and honoring those within our community. And then I'm personally grateful to be able to serve the northwest side of South Bend. I'm a Washington High School graduate, and I'm a West Sider, and it's where and my uncle is a LaSalle Lion. So yeah. So we're South Bend through and through, and we're just really grateful to be able to have an opportunity to serve our community, and that's what I believe that we're called to do. And real estate is one way that we do it professionally, and I do that through the church as well, from just a community standpoint.
All right. Again, I really appreciate it. You guys did a lot of help fall with people who didn't have the monetary advantages to help out, and you guys stepped up big time with helping dozens of families do that, so that was very appreciated. So I'll probably be out, or you just let me know when you want me to come out there for the presentation of the plaque. So again, appreciate what you and your family do. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Now we will go to the Youth of the Month. Do I have any U8 Bulldog coaches on here?
Yes, Michiana Bulldog right here, Kalume Chimanga.
Good. Hey, buddy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm having a great time, thank you. For people who don't know, the U8 Pop Warner from South Bend, St. Joe County, Indiana, won the national championship. They went all the way down to the great state of Florida to beat everybody that they could to win the U8 championship. So you want to give us just a brief synopsis of what y'all did to get there?
Yes, thanks for the platform. I really appreciate it. So we have a bunch of kids that love sports and want to get involved in learning the game of football. And so we have put together a team of 7 and 8 year olds just to give the kids something to do. And so we played a regular season of 8, 9 games against teams throughout northern Indiana. And they did a phenomenal job from game one all the way down to the last week of the regular season. I think they've only had maybe 2 opponents that scored on them. And then after that, we played a state championship game in LaPorte High School, and we won. They won those games fairly. And then after our state championship game, we were entering into a regional championship game against a team from Kansas City. It was another 7 and 8 year old team, and so they came down to LaPorte, and our team represented the Northern Indiana pretty well. We beat that team. No one expected that would happen, and so they did, and I'm really proud of those kids. And then after that, we were given an invitation to go down to Florida to play in a tournament. So we played 2 exhibition games and then a championship game against a very, very good Florida team. Florida teams are really highly talented. They have a lot of speed, just great, outstanding staff and coaches. We do as well, but we were able to represent South Bend in Indiana down in Florida. And the kids went down there. They played in a national championship game, and they were able to win. It was a close game, and it's something that has never been done with this team. So I'm really proud of them.
Okay, that's awesome. So again, I'll get with you when you want me to come out. Y'all do have some pictures autographed by a former Pop Warner player who now plays for the Chiefs. So we'll get that. I think most of those kids got T-shirts we did in the fall, right, still?
Yeah, we
Okay.
did. Yeah.
From the Dieter Dream Foundation, because he got to start playing on the exact field y'all did, so it's very cool. So I appreciate what you guys have done. You brought Pop Warner back, because it was almost a lost entity in the community. So hopefully we can keep getting that up. So we get, back in the day, we had like 300 kids playing when I was coaching there. So again, I appreciate all you did. Tell the kids we said hey, and I'll set up a time where we'll come out and give them those photos and get a nice picture for our corridor. Hall of Fame corridor, we could call it here?
Sure.
Hall of Fame corridor, cool. All right, well, I appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Thank all of you for doing what you do for the community. It's well intended for what you do, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there any way we know that Katie Wise, the coach, is on there or not? Does she make comments? I don't know. I couldn't see her on there. I didn't know.
Does end up.
No, yeah, we'll get to all that.
All right, well, on behalf of the entire board, it's great that we can celebrate the many amazing things that are happening throughout our community, and we're looking forward to, on a consistent basis, bringing those to light. So it's great when we can share news like this that is very helpful and rewarding. All right, moving on to the Hospital Authority Board appointment. I will now open up nominations.
Nomination for Robert Jamison.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I will close the nominations. All those in favor of reappointing Robert Jamison to a 4-year term, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to Portage Manor Board appointment. I will now open up nominations for the Portage Manor Board of Directors.
I would nominate Tony Obringer. Is that how you pronounce his last name? Obringer.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I will close the nominations. All those in favor of appointing Tony Obringer to a 4-year term ending in December of 2024 to the Portage Manor Board of Directors, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Resolution R3C2021, adopting and approving the the St. Joseph County Energy Leadership Program Guidelines. I don't know if Mr. Nolan happens to be on the call. It doesn't appear, so I will do my best to handle this. So about a year ago, the St. Joseph County Council passed, we had energy savings program that we put into place, and this was a companion piece of that. A lot of the work is already being done. This just kind of finalizes and immortalizes the agreement. So this is a very important piece. What we're hoping then, this will also make it easier for the people kind of handling the energy program to give them greater access to different departments, because that had been somewhat problematic off and on. So we're hoping this takes care of that. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve this resolution R-3-C-2021, adopting and approving the Energy Leadership Program.
Second.
We have a motion to second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, contractor agreement with Coppins Investigative Group, Inc. This is an agreement that will allow Coppins Group to come in and do an initial security survey, or the word that makes much more sense than survey.
Physical security inspection.
Why, thank you.
I think he's
Thank you.
on, if you want to give him a 30-second.
All right.
Is he on here? Okay.
Mr. Coppins, are you on?
I am on.
All
Good
right.
morning. everyone.
If you give us like a short 30, 45-second overview.
You bet. Well, as soon as we get this process going, what I will do is meet with the head of security there. It's going to be very important that moving forward, that any assessment or any ideas, that they also work in conjunction with the current protocols that are in place. So we want to make sure that the recommendations that I give will align with the current security. Of course, as you all know, is the sheriff's department. So we want to get their point of view, and as well as combining the knowledge that we bring forward. And we would hope to have that to you folks in about 30 days then.
Awesome. Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I just, before you all ask for a vote, I'm going to recuse myself of this. I have a conflict of interest filed with our attorney, Mr. Woods. I have done business with Coppins in the past, but I have anything to do with this current contract that you may or may not approve.
It's only out of abundance of caution that I advise Commissioner Dieter to do this.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve this contract agreement with Coppins Investigative Group for physical security inspectors and treat assessments.
Second. We have a motion, a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we have 3 agreements that relate to the refunding of the PSAP, or the dispatch center debt. We anticipate there being bond rates and money being as inexpensive as it is now. We can realize some savings. It may not be substantial savings, but once again, in these economic times, we find it's appropriate to do everything we can to save taxpayer money, so that's what's happening here. So the first item in this group is an agreement with Barnes and Thornburg. Counselor, do we want to handle all 3 of these separately, I assume?
You can handle them separately if you so desire, JK and L, or you can handle them, since they're all part of the same transaction, you can do them all together. I can explain the
All right,
agreement.
so we've got agreements with Barnes and Thornburg, Thorn and Grotnick, and Sender and Company. Take it away.
As you mentioned, it's been identified by Mesro Financial who's helped the county on previous bond transactions. There's savings to be had that will exceed 6 figures on the issuance that originally funded the PSAP and provided for its facility and some technology out there. These engagements with Barnes and Thornburg, Thorn and Grotnick, and Sender Company will allow Barnes and Thornburg to serve as your bond counsel, me to serve as general counsel to the Board of Commissioners, as well as Sender and Company to serve as the financial advisor. The amounts of the engagements are set forth therein. As with past practice of the board, I recommend that you approve these in an open meeting, so they're part of so that they're approved in advance of the closing and not just a line in the closing transcript.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve these agreements with Barnes and Thornburg LLP, Thorn Grodnick LLP, and Sender and Company LLC.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Also, note that both mayors of South Bend and Mishawaka have been made aware of this because they'll need to be participatory in some of that as well. Thank you, Mr. Woods.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have bills passed by the St. Joseph County Council at a public hearing held on February 9th, 2021. They passed ordinance 921, which is a salary ordinance for the auditor, ordinance 1021, salary ordinance for the coroner, 1121, salary ordinance for adult probation, 1221, the same for the auditor, 921, which is 1321, which is the monthly transfer and appropriation, and ordinance 1521, which is an amendment to the land use policy. Any questions or comments regarding any of these items? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve all these ordinances from the county council.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to the Health Department. Request approval to apply for a grant through the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation.
Good morning, Amy Ruby, Administrator for the Department of Health with offices on the 8th and 9th floor of the County City Building. Before you is a request for support to apply for a grant funding opportunity through the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. The grant term would be September 15th of 2021 through September 15th of 2022.
Any questions or comments? Amy, is this require any match or any further action from the county or the health department?
No, no match is required for this.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve that the health department could apply for this grant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Amy. Moving on, infrastructure planning and growth. Request approval of resolution R4C2021 FEMA home buyout grant purchase agreement.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Brown, Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth, with offices on the 7th and 11th floors. Before you today is a resolution requesting approval of a purchase agreement for one of the properties in our pre-disaster mitigation grant. This is at 20320 Pearl Street. This is similar to the one you guys passed 2 weeks ago. It's just entering into the purchase agreement with the property owner. So, and this property also is currently sitting vacant, so it would be one of the first ones to be bought and then demolished. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Are there in fact any questions? Is there a motion?
Yes, a motion to approve this resolution R-4-C-2021 for the purchase of these floodplain areas.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you so much for all your work as it relates to this. This has been a project that's been going on for years, and it's great to see this continue to get closer to culmination. So thank you for all the work that you've done.
I was just going to say that, too. I mean, it's been going on for a long time. I'm so glad we're getting this taken care of. Thank you so much.
Next, request to advertise, request for proposals for engineering and inspection services for the rehabilitation and repairs of various major bridge structures in St. Joseph County, Indiana.
Good morning, Sky Metters, interim county engineer, 7th and 11th floors of this building. The first item that I have for you today is a request to advertise a request for a proposal for engineering and inspection services for the rehabilitation or repairs of various major bridges in the county. A major bridge is defined as any bridge 200 feet or longer. We are requesting to advertise the RFP on Friday, February 19th and February 26th. And we also further request the board approve opening the letters of interest on Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. We recommend your approval of this request, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Are there any questions for Sky? Guess, a question that was asked of me, is this routine in nature? Are these anything to worry about from these bridge structures, or?
There's nothing on the list that we have as far as for these repairs, anything in the, to worry about in the meet. It's just more along the lines of items that happen over time as the bridges age and start to deteriorate, but there's no major issues at this time.
We're trying to do a little bit of planning.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is-
it's projects that we have funding for, but they'll probably be constructed over the next 1 to 3, 1 to 4 years.
Okay. Any other questions for Sky? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve this advertised request.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, resolution and approval of land transfer to the town of Roseland.
The second item I have is for your consideration is a resolution between the Board of Commissioners and the Town of Roseland transfer a parcel of land for their use and maintenance. The parcel is about 0.2 acres and is located on the southeast side of the intersection of State Road 933 and Cleveland Road. This parcel was excess land given to the county after the construction of the toll road and does not serve any specific purpose for the county. Legal counsel has prepared the resolution, and Public Works has reviewed the legal description and recommends your approval. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions? Comments? Is there a motion?
Yes, a motion to approve this land transfer to the town of Roseland.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Sky.
Thank you.
All right, request to approve a professional service agreement amendment number 1 for the St. Joseph County Highway Garage Consolidation and Preliminary Site Design Services for new facilities.
Good morning, Bill Shalio, Economic Development with Infrastructure Planning and Growth. Our office is on the 11th and the 7th floor. This is the first of several items of which I will be addressing you on today. The item before you, item D, is a request to approve professional service agreement amendment 1 for the St. Joseph County Highway Garage Consolidation and Preliminary Site Design Services for new facilities. It's a wordy title. Basically, this is a contract with DLZ. We had signed this contract originally with DLZ to look at 3 locations for highway garages in St. Joseph County. As part of that work, we have narrowed up, we have determined that we will need 1 northern garage and ultimately 1 southern garage. That one northern garage currently is proposed to be on the Portage Manor campus. So, as part of the work then to determine how to build a highway garage at Portage Manor on the campus, and when I describe the campus, it's the property from Portage on the west to Riverside Drive on the east to the toll road on the north and all the way south to Boland. So it's the entire property of Portage Manor. As part of the work to do that study, this contract really then became a very layered contract because what we needed to do is we needed to do everything from site assessment to site surveys to topo surveys to environmental surveys to all sorts of work to not only determine how to deal with the highway garage project, but then also to deal with existing issues at Portage Manor. So this contract provided by DLZ is a very layered contract. There are several component pieces within it. So what we're asking for you to do today is approve amendment number 1, which then covers all of the scope of work at the Portage Manor campus site for the highway garage. In addition, it also covers some additional scope of work specific to work being done at Portage Manor. So for example, on the east end of the Portage Manor building sits a former 2-story, a story above grade, story below grade building that was used as a stable building and then has had multiple uses over time. That building is losing brick and is in deteriorated condition, as well as a silo that sits immediately adjacent. So this work also does environmental work and then demolition planning for demolition of that structure as well as a silo and to do some very specific environmental work around the Portage Manor building. So this is a very layered contract. We appreciate the work that DLZ is doing to help us get this all set, get this all in place so that we can move forward with this project. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Bill, I just want to thank you for your work. I think this is also the rest of infrastructure planning and growth. This is a very comprehensive look as we know a new highway garage is a mission critical piece for St. Joseph County that we simply must move forward with, but it's important that while we do so, we look at the surrounding area as well so we can while we're doing work, we can benefit Portage Manor and the Chet Wagner Little League that's there as well. I mean, we're trying to make sure we take everyone's needs into account as we move forward with this project. So I appreciate your leadership with that. Any questions or comments?
Sure. Scribner's there, Wagner is Waggner.
We will make a note of that.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's very important to the citizens of our northwest side. And then, Bill, all this stuff that, or what specifically is it that we are helping Chet Wagner Little League with? Is that an indoor?
So Chet Wagner obviously sits within our footprint. Chet Wagner has a long-term lease with the county for their property. As we look to abandon our Riverside Drive garage complex, we will work with Chet Wagner as they explore the potential to reuse parts of our site, whether it's
Okay.
buildings, whether it's ground, whether it's a combination. That will then help us determine what we need to demolish on our way out of the site. So we know that we'll have gas tanks that'll need to be removed. We have some buildings that need to be removed. So it really is kind of comprehensive in scope as it relates to them too, so.
Okay, cool. And then the second paragraph of the commercial area may include, so that's just a vision that as you go, decide whether this is applicable to that property.
That's
type stuff.
correct, yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments?
Well, I just have a comment too, that I'm glad that we're hoping then we're going to upgrade our garages to make sure that we can serve better, our citizens better. So I appreciated that. Thank you so much, Bill.
If there are no more questions or comments, is there a motion?
A motion to approve this professional service agreement amendment number 1 with DLZ.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, request approval of AEP utility easement on Outlot B, Lathrop Street and Old Cleveland Road minor subdivision.
So the agreement before you today is a utility easement on Outlot B. Outlot B is one of 3 properties that make up the former county highway garage that was known as the Central Garage that was located between Lathrop on the south and Old Cleveland Road on the north. Outlot B is a property that lines up generally with Bowen Drive extended into the site. The easement request before you today relates to, it's kind of part 2 of work that AEP had done done about a year ago. AEP is going through the community, taking down the old erector set towers, putting up new poles. And what they're looking to do is, with this agreement, then is to run additional power to those poles to be able to put FAA lights on top of these poles so that planes don't hit the poles. So it seems like a very appropriate request, and again, it follows an existing easement path that they had previously secured from us 2 years ago. So if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Are there in fact any questions?
Negative.
Is there a motion?
Yes, a motion to approve this utility easement agreement.
Second.
We have motion and second. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next item, request approval of professional service proposal, Lawson and Fisher and Associates, Indiana Enterprise Center Core Development Area Site Certification Project.
So the proposal before you today from Lawson Fisher is specific to work that is needed to be done to gain information so that we can move forward with site certification of what we call IEC Site Number 1. That's basically the property from Early Road south to State Road 2, from Willow east to Larison Boulevard. That IEC Site Certified 1 will probably be about 650 acres once prepped for site certification. We need to do some additional survey work. That's one of the requirements necessary from the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs, Indiana OCRA, that manages the site certification process. So we need some additional site survey as well as some site characterization work, which includes geotech work and some updating some previously completed soil boring work. So if there's any questions about this proposal, I'd be happy to answer them. I would note that this item, which is item F, and items F through L have all previously been approved by the Redevelopment Commission at their meeting last Tuesday. So if there's any questions about this, I'd be happy to answer them.
Are there in fact any questions?
Yeah, Bill, in regards to this one, do the people in Olive Township and New Carlisle, are they aware of what this next phase is, or, because
So-
again, that's been the issue that I've got the feedback from of not a lot of information flowing.
Certainly.
until it-
So we've been working specifically with the property owners of these properties as it relates to those sites. But site certification was one of the bullet point items that was part of the Core Development Area Coalition agreement that was signed back last September. So Olive Township representatives, as well as Town of New Carlisle leadership representatives, are aware of this and are supportive of this.
Okay, because there is no more New Carlisle Gazette, so I don't know. We can talk about other ways to get that information
Certainly,
out.
yep.
So everybody's on the same page of when and where and why things are happening out there.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve this professional service proposal for Lawson Fisher and Associates.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed. Just want to point out, Bill, that this kind of falls within the agreed-upon area that we had discussed taking action with both New Carlisle, Olive Township, and that simply seeks to kind of change a designation for this area that's to the benefit of the property owners there, that just makes it easier to potentially develop if they so choose. All right, request approval of professional service proposal, Christopher B. Burke Engineering, Indiana Enterprise Center Core Development Area Site Certification Project.
So this proposal is from Christopher B. Burke Engineering, and it's specific to 3 tasks, again, related to the same property area and the same area. First is environmental services. As part of the work for site certification, there's some additional work and expansion of some previous scope that we had done to do some environmental service work, specifically to get us to the gold or to the prime level of certification. So that's the first component of this piece. The second is stormwater management planning. Again, as we look at some site work and site concepts that developers and developments have proposed, coordinating site management for the stormwater management would be part of that ongoing work. This is something Christopher Burke Engineering has helped with since the beginning of this project. The last is on-call demolition quotes and bid assistance. We bought a couple of properties at the end of last year. One of the properties on Snowberry Road specifically has a house and a couple of barn units, as well as a barn building on a piece of property on Larison. So we'll need to move through the process to do demolition of those as soon as those properties have been formally vacated. Environmental work and all the associated work with demolition will need to be done, well closures, septic closures. So they would help and assist our office with demolition spec preparation and coordination of that. So again, this proposal was approved by the Board of Redevelopment Commission. Now ask for your approval of this, please.
Questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the professional service proposal with Christopher B. Burke Engineering. I'm sorry, Christopher B. Burke Engineering. Yep.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Bill. All right, now, request approval of professional service proposal, Insight Strategic Concepts, IEC project.
So this proposal before you today from Insight Strategic Concepts is a strategic planning component of the work that we need to be doing in the IEC area. So really for the last year and a half, 2 years, we've been gathering a lot of property information, a lot of property data, a lot of land data, a lot of soil data, a lot of data. And at some point, you need to put that together in a strategic plan to move forward. So again, as we've done some high-level area management planning, we understand how some of the land needs to break up in development. And again, how we've worked through that process has gotten to the point of the designation of the core development area. So going from 7,200 acres to 22,920 acres, which is the core development area. So the work that this contract will do specifically is to help us do strategic planning moving forward to the next step. So if you think about master planning and strategic planning and planning in general, there are a series of steps. So we've done information gathering and data gathering. Now we go to strategic planning, and that will help us put together the pieces of coalition building, of information gathering, of all these pieces now come together and we form a strategic plan as we continue to move forward with the process. This contract before you today is with Insight Strategic Concepts, will help us do that. Again, it really helps us as we move forward with the development of strategies and concepts moving forward with the IEC. If there's any questions, I would be happy to answer.
I'll just add that one of the criticisms by different entities has been the lack of communication and focus from the county with the different constituencies that are served in that area. And this is one of the things that we are looking to address this. This is not, I made comments similar to this at the Redevelopment Commission. This is not meant to sell anything. This is meant to help us as we plan and gather information and input from the stakeholders and the community members that would be involved in this. So this is another step that the county is trying to take to increase communication, increase transparency, and do the very things that we've been told we have not been doing. Any questions or comments?
Well, I just want to agree with Andy too about that. I'm glad that we're able to do that and move forward and move forward with upgrading our economic development too. So good. Hope we can do that.
Cool, yeah, I disagree a little bit with my fellow commissioners, which is fine. And I think, Bill, I need to set up a time where I can meet. I think Ms. Moore is on here, because I probably have a couple dozen questions about this. Again, the intent, I completely understand, as Andy alluded to, but I have a lot of questions on, like under the core planning and activation and people who should be on board. Again, reaching out to the community who know Olive Township, who know New Carlisle. They have a board here consisting of people who probably don't have a clue of where Early Road is or any other thing. So again, it's just a question. So I won't be voting for this,
Sure.
but I completely understand the first steps to take and try to mend this all together as we go.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve the professional service proposal with the Insight Strategic Concepts.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes 2-1. All right. Next, request approval of professional service proposal, Big Idea Company, Media Relations.
So this proposal before you today, while on the Redevelopment Commission's agenda is part of the New Carlisle Economic Development area, is really part of a larger conversation that we've been having with the Redevelopment Commission to better advertise the development that is occurring in St. Joseph County. One of the failures I would say that the county has is that sometimes we don't do a good enough job promoting the good things that do happen. And obviously the things that were done at the beginning of the meeting today to promote businesses and citizens and youth is a good step in that direction. We've seen tremendous amount of economic development activity in the cities and the towns and in the unincorporated areas of St. Joseph County. And the work that Big Idea will be doing with the county in coordination with the county will help us to better message some of that. Whether it's work that we're doing in solar, some of the solar projects that are occurring in the county, whether it's projects up on the Capitol Avenue corridor, up in the AM general area, a lot of development opportunities are happening. And moving forward, this contract before you today will help us better coordinate some of the messaging related to that. So any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
I guess a very key piece is that this is not simply focused on the IEC. This is on development throughout the county. And it's one of the things, one of the issues that was raised at the Redevelopment Commission was, why don't we then bring this in-house and do it? Well, we've got economic development team of two. So to bring staff on to do that, it would still not be it would not be economical to do that at this point, but that's something I believe Brian Pawlowski from the Redevelopment Commission asked us to take a look at that, because we're getting to the point where that might be something that we look to do, but we simply need to improve our communication, to Bill's point of the great things that are happening here in St. Joe County. I applaud Commissioner Dieter for bringing a passion to that for what we've done earlier at this meeting, but we simply must be better at that, and we're hoping that the Big Idea company can help us in that regard. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, Bill, do we know how this contract will be divided up yet among the entities that you're talking about?
So at this point in time, as soon as we've talked with Lou and Melinda a little bit on some development of scope, they're in the process of doing some of that pre-work, but then we will sit down and bring that scope to the commissioners to make sure that there are additional things. If we want to add in certain things or focus more on some other things, that will be part of that larger discussion that'll be happening in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, from last year, Big Idea, when the county hired them, they worked specifically on the IEC area?
That's correct.
And how much was that, do you know?
Similar size contract. I believe it was $6,000 a month for
Okay.
12 months, so yeah.
And then at the end of the day, was there, what's, I guess, our net gain out of that money spent? What did that get the county?
So, I'd argue that.
I know it's
It's a little amorphic as far as the question. I would argue that it did help us with getting 2 major rezonings to occur, or 3
Right.
major rezonings to occur out in the IEC. But it also gave us some base data to help us better understand, through some survey work that they did, what really are some of the perceptions of the IEC project. Now, I would argue that some would say that that was bad data, and others would say it was good data. I would say that we didn't have that data, so that was a big help for us at that time.
Yeah, I would look at, or with you, just so we don't duplicate what we did last time, because if wasn't a net gain, again, I'll point fingers at the previous elected officials who were out there that, from my perception and talking to them, that was never a given of people going out to the areas, going out to their meetings, going out to a local establishment and talking to get their thing. So again, I just hope that we don't just go give money to these people and do what we did last time, especially, I know Capitol Avenue and all that stuff's different, but my 2 cents from out Olive Township and New Carlisle. So I'll get with Big Ideas and you on that to follow up and go talk to those people.
Sounds perfect.
Cool, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve the professional service proposal with Big Idea Company.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, request approval of professional service proposal, Christopher B. Burke Engineering, Capitol Avenue Trail Extension Amendment.
So this is an extremely exciting project, and there's a couple of pieces of this, and so I'll talk briefly about the different pieces. First is, over the last 2 years, we've been working with Christopher Burke Engineering and several other partners, stakeholders in the corridor, to really look at the Capitol Avenue Trail that was built by the state over a number of years as it built the Capitol Avenue corridor. From Douglas Road at the north, all the way down to the bypass at the south, there's at least a trail on one side or the other, or in many cases both, through that whole corridor that was built. But if you really didn't know it was there, because the grass grows over it and the weeds grow through it, it really is an underdeveloped, underused corridor. So over the last couple of years, as we've been looking at quality of life projects through the Redevelopment Commission, we've really tried to put an emphasis on bringing this 12 miles of trail that already presently exists to life and to activation. So with that said, we last year constructed sidewalk segments from the end of Jefferson at Mishawaka city limits to Capitol Avenue, west of Capitol, to complete a segment of loop to get pedestrians to the corridor. The proposal before you today does 2 things. One is it creates a set of construction documents to help create a nearly half-mile segment of trail that does not exist between the Capitol Avenue Bridge north to just south of Jefferson on the west side of Capitol Avenue. That segment of trail, once completed, would then link the northern section and the southern section together, making this larger trail section finally a loop, if you will, or 2 sets of loops connected in the middle. The opportunity to do this project now is accelerated by the fact that the South Bend Elkhart Regional Partnership and the larger regional partnership will be managing several hundreds of $1,000s of funds that are being returned to the Regional Cities program because of the South Bend Chocolate Project not moving forward on the west side of the county. Those funds becoming available will be released by the partnership here soon, or an RFP will be released soon. We believe that we're in a good position to apply for that money. That money will help supplement existing funds we already have to pay for this project and help us move forward with this project. So a huge opportunity to supplement existing funds with outside funds to do this quality of life program. So that's kind of the first piece of this program. The second piece then is to do survey work, to do a connection from Lincoln Way, the intersection of Lincoln Way and Capitol, up to Riviera Drive, which would be south of the river, north of Lincoln Way. This connection piece is another link of connecting the trail trail into the neighborhoods. I would note for the record and publicly that the survey work we will do will be to establish survey information relative to the two historic entry posts into the neighborhood. None of this work will do anything that would compromise, damage, or destroy those pillars and posts. So I'd want that on the record. We would only do things that would enhance or make those posts better and more durable moving forward. Second piece of the work then would be to do basic survey work on the south side of McKinley from Capitol Avenue east to about Current Road, where there is not sidewalk that exists. As that sidewalk could be developed, and then as the county does work from Ash Road to Birch in 2023 and 2024, we then would have sidewalk all the way from county line to Capitol. If you go down south a mile from Jefferson, you'd be able to go from Jefferson and Capitol all the way to the Mishawaka Trail System, all the way through Mishawaka, then through South Bend, up through the University District, up through Roseland, and then up to the state line of Michigan. So the opportunity to extend our trail network by doing a couple of very specific segments opens up our community for one of the biggest trail sections or trail opportunities in the region. So a lot of work in this one little tiny proposal, but we ask for your approval of that. Any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Bill. You can take a breath now.
Thank you.
I appreciate all your work. I mean, this is just this has been a focus of the Board of Commissioners of the last half a dozen years of really enhancing and improving and increasing the bicycle and pedestrian traffic across the county. We think that's a very important piece from quality of place. So much so that some of the RDA money that was, not able to be spent, that was focused on improving quality of place is going to be used now, hopefully, if we achieve this. I think it's just a great addition to the bike trails and everything that we have in the county. So I applaud your efforts, and you're willing to pivot very quickly. Any questions or comments?
Sure. Do you have how many people use that currently?
On any given day, probably 25 to 30, like I say. But it's hard to tell. We haven't set up trail cams or any trail counters or anything yet. But one of the things we do look to, and when I say those numbers, I mean, that could be anywhere from the bypass in the south to Douglas in the north. So it's, again, very underutilized trail system. But I will tell you anecdotally that when trees did fall from a retention area onto the trail, the amount of calls that we did receive because people were blocked from being able to use the trail was, I don't want to say significant because significant sounds high, but it was a lot. So there were more people using it than we saw.
So do you envision this, once y'all keep going and do all that, to be similar to Riverside Trail, that is?
I think one of the challenges we have on this trail is that, we don't have a river. So
You got a lot of huge major streets.
Yeah, we do. So, I mean, you're next to Capitol Avenue, which isn't really sexy to walk next to, but you're at least 20 feet off the side of the road. So, little segmented. The next proposal, though, we'll talk about some of the things we look to do to enhance this trail system so that it could be a more entertaining walk and more enjoyable walk.
Well, I don't know if the general public knows, like our parks with Riverside Trail, because if you use that like extensively for where we're at on Portage, if you go up, you can go up to all the way up to St. Joe's soon, but we can ride up to the Niles YMCA, 28.3 miles, Mr. Castelny, by the way. And then you can go all the way out to Eberhard Golf Course, which is awesome. So again, the county does a phenomenal job of keeping those trails. It's an awesome trail if you've ever done it. Little canopy of trees and so on. So I think this is very cool for people on that side of the county to enjoy all the other perks that you're trying to provide. So it's a very good thing.
I would note for the record, while it does not look like I'm a trail user.
I did not say that.
I would note that the segments that we have been
We are
on,
starting a county commissioner bicycle club if you'd be interested, so.
Okay, that sounds, as long as it's a tandem, so somebody else can do the work for me. Or rickshaw.
And I agree with what he's saying, because I also have, though, people that are concerned about trying to walk along Capitol Avenue, and there's no sidewalks there, and they're trying to go over the bridge there, and wasn't a sidewalk there. So upgrading that in that area will be really good. And then making a nice trail in that area is really good, because guess who does do some trailing? I do that too. So anyway, I've had a lot of friends, and of course, I lived in that area when I grew up. So anyway, and it's good to put those trails up there and get things going so people can, be active in our county. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I'm more of a trail mix guy than I am a trail. And is there a motion?
Yes, a motion to approve the professional service proposal for Christus, our bank engineering for the Capitol Avenue Trail extension.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes. Next, request approval of Capitol Avenue Corridor Trailway Visioning Plan.
So it's nice that we have a trail, but it'd be nice to put some vision with it. So the proposal before you from Layman and Layman is really an overview, stakeholder building conversation contract. This will look all the way from State Road 23 all the way down to the bypass. This will engage stakeholders throughout the area, whether it's the neighborhoods on the far south end down by Elm Road School that can see the trail but don't connect to it, or how do we engage the Granger communities and the Granger Trail Network into building this corridor, the Beacon area, Douglas Road, where trails have already been built. So it's really putting together kind of a working document. So as we go forward, it will help us be strategic with our funds, could help us apply for grants, just help us coordinate our thoughts as it relates to a trail. This is a huge corridor from one end to the other, 9.5 mile corridor. So the opportunity to put some of this on paper to help give us a plan is an opportunity. So we would ask for your proposal or your approval of this proposal, please.
Thank you. And I would say, much like different activities in the IEC and other parts, I mean, planning is important. If you don't have good planning, if you don't do the work on the front end, then we kind of have a jumbled situation like we see at the Capitol Avenue corridor. There wasn't planning for that entire piece, so some area has trails, some doesn't, some has sidewalks, some doesn't. So I think this proper planning is very important as we look at that entire vision. Questions or comments? Is there a motion?
There is a motion to approve the Capitol Avenue Corridor Trailways Visioning Plan.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, request approval of Olive Road Master Planning DLZ. Speaking of proper planning.
So this is a project that actually, in all reality, dates back almost 15 years. Years ago, the city of South Bend worked on a concept of developing Olive Road between Lincoln Way, US 20, all the way north to Adams Road. There was a proposal to develop a corridor through that whole area. It was going to be concrete roads, curb, gutter, utilities. Sections of that got built from Brick down south to Cleveland Road. Nims Parkway got built, but the plans were kind of put in a can and just left off to the side. We are seeing development interest and actually have a fairly substantial rezoning that was filed on Old Cleveland Road, just south of General Stamping and Metalworks. That property is located in the Northwest Cleveland Road Economic Development Area, so the opportunity to build a fairly substantial warehouse logistics project on that site will drive more trucks on Old Cleveland Road, Nims Parkway, and Olive Road. And our goal really is to focus traffic on roads that are suitable for those truck movements and traffic movements. We're having similar conversations on the northeast part of this corridor with City of South Bend as it relates to the Ameriplex area, Mayflower, Adams, Dillon, all of the roads in the northeast part of this area. But the opportunity before you today, the proposal before you today is to dust off those old set of plans developed by City of South Bend, by DLZ. Look at the plans, look at new conditions, do some additional planning work as it relates to this. Look at the whole area between Olive Road and the bypass from the Nims Parkway south to US 20. Look at the development opportunities in that corridor. I would note that South Bend Chocolate's project did cause water and sewer to be run to that site. This project originally, when proposed, had water and sewer nowhere on the south end of the site, so that water and sewer now gives us some new opportunities to bring development to that area maybe a little sooner. So this proposal before you today will dust off those plans, move this project forward. We will then see what the costs are and if there's the opportunity to create more development in this area, then which will give us funds to then pay for this project and move this project forward. Any questions that may have an answer?
Thank you, Bill. I think this is very key. We've had citizens from German Township on more than one occasion approach the county asking for some relief. The problem is it's part city, part county, so what we're trying to do is once again bring a comprehensive plan to address the concerns that currently exist and also address future concerns before they become concerns. Questions or comments?
One quick comment. Were you still with the city when St. Clair had the big multi-baseball Challenger Little League behind, be on the east side of the road, behind the school there?
I would say that my name was probably peppered on that file at a number of places.
Right,
That
well, it
a-
was when Mayor Licky was leaving and everybody's wish list on stuff, so, but isn't there city water and sewer up and down that?
City water
Or
and
half of
sewer
it?
just on the very north end up at the school, and it may turn the corner south on Olive Road, but it
Okay.
does not go any farther south than the
Now, does the
corner.
city own where the high wire tension lines come through? You know where I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
there, halfway down?
So I believe that the city at the time had a great economic development staff member that acquired all the right of way for that project corridor, except at that AEP piece. So I believe all the property has been acquired for the corridor. So that high wire piece does not, I believe, have ownership by the city.
Okay. I think it's a great plan. That is a very busy road if you drive that.
I just want to agree with that, too. Hopefully, we can improve that and make things safer for people there and happier when they live there, too, yes. Good. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions or comments? If not, is there a motion?
There is a motion to approve the Olive Road Master Plan with DLZ.
Second?
Motion is second. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes. We have an add-on for our meeting pleasure. St. Joseph County Policy Virtual and Partially Virtual Meetings during COVID-19. We've got a resolution R5C 2021. Part of this is just to kind of solidify and give a policy related to virtual meetings. This is unfortunately brought forward because we had a couple of incidents during an area plan meeting, so we just want to kind of get some guidance. Counselor.
Sure, I've had conversations with Mr. Luke Britt, the public access counselor, and tendered to him the form of this policy resolution that he has reviewed and approved. By this resolution, the county is going to, when appropriate, during virtual and partially virtual meetings, members of the public viewing will have their microphones and cameras turned off. If the host of the meeting at the county is able, the host will turn the members of the public's microphone and his cameras off. Otherwise, we will just request it. Now, the governing officials, the members of this commissioner and the other governing bodies, will have their cameras on, will have their microphones on, so it will truly be a public meeting to all those viewing in attendance. However, they will not be able to have their microphones on and cameras on. Now, during portions of a meeting where public participation is required or allowed, during a public hearing or privilege of the floor, the participating member of the public will have their microphone and camera, if any, turned on. If a member of the public wishes to participate in this portion of the meeting, they should indicate this by using the raise their hand function in Zoom and/or messaging the host in the chat function. So that's the policy that has been approved again by the Public Access Counselor.
And this is not done as a mean to compromise participation or limit participation, but we had incidents at public meetings where pornography was flashed on the screen and we were helpless to do anything to turn it off. So we had one of the area plan meetings had to actually be delayed. So that simply is not acceptable. So we're trying to find a way to manage sharing the information that we need to with the public and have them attend public meetings virtually, but also protect ourselves and, quite frankly, all the people who are on the calls themselves. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the St. Joseph County Policy Virtual and Partially Virtual Meetings during the COVID-19 session is what I was thinking, or not? Yes, it is. That's what you said.
As found in Resolution 5.
Right.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to old business, seeing none. Public comments. Are there any public comments?
Dan Caruso, 305 Compton Street, New Carlisle. Good morning, everybody. First off, commissioners, thank you, commissioners, especially Commissioner Dieter, for bringing attention on things that have been not taken place over here, where the communication has been less than satisfactory in most people's eyes in this area. And I got to say, I would like to see some of that Capitol Avenue corridor stuff, the trails and all. I don't trail bike ride, but I see a big area for some of that love over this way instead of us always talking about what kind of businesses we're bringing in here. And it would be it would be nice to get some of that stuff over here as part of a growing area and provide things for people to do in this area rather than to have to travel somewhere to get to it. I guess I mainly have a couple of questions. One is with the Site 1 certification procedure. There's talk of the 600 and some odd acres that are a part of that. Is any of this site certification by Lawson Fisher taking place on the approximately 20 acres of county-owned property at Willow and 2, which was denied a rezoning request from agriculture to industrial by St. Joseph County Council? And I also have a little bit of I don't know, an issue. The issue could be my own personal issue. It's in this section from ISC, I believe is their acronym. And it's a section called Anticipated Project Outcomes for Stated Deliverables. On my screen, it's page 160, and it says execute ongoing core area implementation process. The very last sentence in number 3 there says, we typically spend most of our time facilitating public engagement and implementation required after a plan is set and approved. I sure hope this doesn't mean that the public isn't going to be involved before the plan is set and approved. If you could answer those, and I understand that sometimes you can't do that, but I do appreciate the commission starting to recognize that there's been a lack of involvement from the locals over here. Thank you all, and everybody please stay safe.
Thank you, Dan. We will get you the answers to those questions to the best of our ability. Are there any other public comments? All right, hearing none, I will want to mention, I want to thank our road crews. This is we got 8 to 10 inches of snow depending upon what part of the county you were in. I did speak with Chip Porter, our highway engineer, earlier this morning. He said they've made most first passes. They should be completed with second passes. The goal is to put a plow to the street and move snow as best they can in as many places initially, and then go back in and gradually widen as they go. So they're in the second pass process moving forward, and then the hope is they can start going curb to curb either later today or first thing tomorrow. So hopefully in about 24 hours, we should be open back up, and we just please ask for people's patience. This is a lot of snow, and it's so much snow that they had to go to front plows, which just makes it a little bit more challenging. The radiuses are tighter, so in some subdivisions, some cul-de-sacs, unfortunately, that means you're probably going to have a little bit more snow than you're used to dealing with. But once again, we appreciate everyone's patience. That's all I have. Any other public comments? Hearing none, a motion to recess is in order.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Tough luck.